We're back with Glenn Sexton, Vice President and General Manager of Xerox Hawaii. Who was a mentor for you developing into this leader or just really through your career?
Well, on the career side, we had a president of Xerox, he's since retired, named Carlos Pascual, Spaniard. And, his English was not great, but he was the most articulate, communicator I ever experienced in my career. So he really made an impact on me, and I didn't actually know him that well, and he came out here, visited us, and told me, this reminds me of when I used to run Spain. Spain's a relatively small Xerox operation, and he just said that if I were you, I'd never leave, which I thought was interesting. Maybe he didn't think I should leave, or maybe he didn't want me to leave, but in any case, he was he impressed me a great deal. Another gentleman, which is here now, is a fellow by the name of Wesley Park, very good friend of mine. He's written a couple of books that you may have heard about, and we have lunch every month. And actually had lunch with Wesley last week. And here's a man that's had all kinds of experiences. He's changed jobs throughout his career, nonprofit, profit. He's now retired, but he's doing a lot of consulting work. And so I bounce things off of Wesley all the time.
So what's the best advice that you've received, and who did you receive that advice from?
Oh, my gosh. Wesley Park, I just had lunch with him last week, and I was talking to him about my son, who's now 16. You get to the point you're talking about college and what do you want to do in life, and I was talking to Wesley about this, and he said, gee, the best advice you could give him is, find something that gives you peace of mind. And I thought, well, that was interesting, because at this point you sort of, go, I want to accomplish, I want to achieve, but peace of mind, I thought that was sage advice, because ultimately that's what we all want. I mean, we want to achieve, and there's ambition, there's creature comforts and all that. But if you have all of that and you lack peace of mind, then it's all for naught. And I going back to community involvement, that's one way of achieving peace of mind, because you're doing something beyond yourself. I mean, I think when one is pretty young and immature, it's all about yourself and how to get ahead. But as you get a little more mature, you understand that we all belong to something bigger than us, and if we all made a small contribution in some way, then we'd all benefit.
How are you managing your time with organizations that you participate with?
Well, that's a good question. It can be very demanding. I think when you're on a board for a nonprofit, work can find its way to your door very quickly, and so there is a process of, first of all, it is a priority. Make it a priority. If it's the last thing on the list, it will not get done. So we schedule it in as much as possible, and simply make it part of the work day and the work month.
What are you teaching your kids now that you're feeling is important?
We talked about peace of mind and values. I asked my son the other day, what's more important, how much you get paid or what you do? And he said he didn't even think about it. He said, Dad, you have to love what you do, and that's something that hopefully he'll not forget. And I don't know if that I taught him that, but he's learned it. And I want my children to be first good people with good values, care about the people around them, and do the right things. And the rest of it takes care of itself. I mean, I think experiences you come across help shape you, but your value system and how you respond to those situations are what you control.
What message could you give to other young professionals who feel that there might not be time because they need to focus on their career, but they should make the time to get involved, to give back to the community somehow?
I'd say that being involved in the community, giving back, so to speak, for the greater good specifically, has pragmatic advantages. I mean, if that's the only reason why you do it, it's probably a problem. But by being involved in such organizations, you actually expand your career because of the people you meet and the things you learn about the community. Also, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn. I've worked for Xerox for 27 years, all of my adult life. And by being involved in these other organizations, I get the opportunity to understand different models, because nonprofits are businesses too. Finances. It's incredibly educational. I learned about the medical, world, which is highly complex, and the nonprofit world. So there's so much to learn out there, and it keeps you fresh, and it keeps you seeing the bigger picture.
Would you recommend for everyone to get involved then?
I do at the time when you can. I mean, you have to make sure that you have enough time because it would be. I have seen situations where a person signs up and it can't be committed, and it becomes a waste of time for everyone. So I think you need to pick your spots. You need to pick your passions and not overcommit. That's another challenge because once you're involved, then it sort of grows and perhaps overwhelms a person.
Being that you had left Hawaii and then you came back a few years later, what advice could you give to people out there who are listening, not in Hawaii, but wanting to come to Hawaii here to live, build their career, and have their family?
Well, I think that you have to appreciate Hawaii for being a very, very unique place. But I also think that experiencing something outside of Hawaii is a tremendous benefit to working and living in Hawaii. I don't mean to say that that's a requirement, but I learned quite a bit while I was away. But I chose to come back. I think Hawaii is a very special place, though. I mean, on the mainland in certain geographies, it's very hard to feel connected. I mean, there can be a feeling of anonymity. You don't see that same person again, perhaps. In Hawaii, that's not the case. So it's a tremendous opportunity for someone that really wants to be connected and to be aware that they are connected to the community.
You're on, is it 3 community boards currently? Is that what you limit your capacity to?
That's about all I could handle at this point, and to do a proper job. Rehabilitation, rehab hospital, and Boys and Girls Club are, there's quite a bit of work there, work that I enjoy. But beyond that, it would be very challenging to do my job as well.
And then you've been with those organizations for a long time, or do you, a couple years and you
3
go
to 5
to another
years.
one?
3 to 5 years, yeah. And I think, for both organizations, I don't see leaving anytime soon. If they'll have me, continue to have me.
Okay. Thanks for joining us today on Greater Good Radio. For more information or a transcript of today's show, please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. This is your host, Evan Leong and Carrie Leong, saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio, Hawaii.